So, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Well, I wanted to make a very short introduction, the reasons why I think this panel is happening now, today. Because many people think that agtech or agrotech is a sort of new emerging sector. So, why? Why we can think something like that? First of all, the total demand is expected to rise 70% by 2050, according to Food and Agriculture Organization, United Nations, you know. So we must produce more food in the next 40 years than during the entire course of human history. On the other hand, the current growth rates in agriculture are not sufficient to cover this demand. On the other hand, we have limitations in terms of availability of land, water, energy, and other key resources. Finally, we have also environmental limitations that were a problem with the last revolution, the Green Revolution, you know. On the other hand, surprisingly, this very big sector, because it's one with a major potential market, is surprisingly the relative little investment in agtech from venture capital, for example. So the questions today, and we have 5 excellent speakers with us, with companies, very young companies in general, and with a very good experience. The questions we want to address today are, first of all, is sustainable agricultural technology a new emerging economic sector? Second, will this new sector able to completely reshape global agriculture? Are there enough agtech specific entrepreneur support system to help these kind of companies and others innovation in the field? Is there, at the end of the day, any room for entrepreneurs? So, to try to respond to these questions, we have 5 people, as I mentioned. First of all, Ewan from WeFarm. He's founder and CEO of WeFarm, a peer-to-peer farming service that brings information to the most rural communities. He is by train architect. He is native from Scotland and has been working for 6 years in Latin America as executive director of an NGO. Secondly, Cristina Gallardo. She is innovation manager at Extremadura Avante. She is an expert in the management of European projects, especially those addressed to cover the digital gap. Melissa Tilney, she works for AgFunder. Melissa is a co-founder at AgFunder, an online investment platform for the 6.4 trillion global agriculture industry. Prior to this, Melissa was director of marketing at Alliance, now Upwork, an online marketplace for hiring freelancers. Before, she worked at the Boston Consulting Group, specializing in food and agriculture, received an MBA from the Colusa School of Management, a JD from Northwestern University, and a BA from Princeton University. Mercedes Iborra, from VisualNACert. She is the Chief Marketing Officer, agronomist engineer, Master in Science of Fruiticulture, Master Business Eclat for Columbia University, and co-founder of Norma Agricola. She has 20 years of experience in the agro thing. And finally, Francisco Cuadros from Metanogenia. He's energy engineer. He's the manager of Metanogenia, that is a technology-based enterprise aimed to establish a profitable biogas market with a strong innovative component. Thank you very much. So the first question for all of you is, tell us something about your company. Try to make a summary of your company, the most relevant things. Yeah?
Okay, hi everyone, good afternoon. As Luis says, my name is Kenny. I'm CEO and founder at WeFarm, which is a startup based in the UK, but trying to bridge the information gap to the most rural and isolated farmers around the world. So there are approximately 450 million small-scale farmers around the world that have no access to internet. So imagine that you're living 20 miles from the nearest village or expert advice. How do you access the information that you need to improve your farm, to plant a new crop, or even to start a new business or micro-enterprise. So the reality is that you can't. The people most in need of this information are the people least able to access it. With WeFarm, a farmer in rural Kenya can learn from a farmer in rural Peru without having to leave the farm, without spending any money, and most crucially, without having to have access to internet. So that is the core concept, to get really important, vital information to people unable to access it normally. We launched in February of this year, starting from zero, and as of yesterday, we have 22,000 farmers signed up to the service, so it's been an amazing few months for us. We are answering more than 1,000 questions every single day from farmers unconnected to internet, and we've been named one of the 20 most innovative startups in the world by Mashable. So I'm hoping that this is just the beginning.
Okay.
Thank you.
22,000 farmers. 22,000.
22,000.
Wow. Incredible, yeah. Cristina.
I'm part of the delegation of the region of Extremadura that is in this event. I'm with Francisco Cuadros today for you to tell you more details on why are we involved in this kind of projects. So Extremadura Avante is a public body that manage all the programs in the field, many of the programs at regional level in the field of supporting entrepreneurs and SMEs. So we provide financial services, infrastructure, internationalization promotion, and innovation and entrepreneurship promotion. So our region has now a kind of opportunity to be identified as a kind of hub lab, if we can say, for testing technology in the field of agriculture. So we are green, and we have many opportunities for getting and testing technology. So this is why we decided at the end that we have to integrate technology in our chain of value, in our economic agent, and how we do it. So we launch a call for getting ideas, for get talent with us, and specialized talent, specialized ideas in the field of agriculture and in the fields of sector in energy and in the green field. And we invite them to get growth and get big and grow their ideas with us. So some figures for all of you to know, we are now currently supporting 100 ideas, 100 new startups in this field, and with an amount of support globally of 5 million euros till 50,000 euros for 8 startups. And while other different services for, we have 8 spaces of acceleration in all the region to cover all the space and to give them the opportunity to get big in this field with the rest of the local resources. This is more or less what we do.
Okay, very good. So we have many entrepreneurs here, so I think everybody's paying attention to your services and your platform.
In fact, if they are identified with our challenges as region, they are invited to provide, to get big their ideas with us.
Okay, very good. And specialized incubator in the green sector, in the agtech. Melissa.
And I'm one of the co-founders at AgFunder. AgFunder is an investment platform specializing in agriculture. We help entrepreneurs raise money and at the same time help investors access agriculture opportunities. We specialize in agriculture technology, but we have helped companies such as agribusinesses or food tech companies raise money. The reason why we started AgFunder is because historically there's been a lack of funding in the agriculture space. And so we stepped in to create an ecosystem for entrepreneurs and investors. We launched the company in 2013, and then we launched our first fundraising campaign in 2014. Since then, we've worked with 17 companies. 11 have been funded, one's about to be closed, and then 5 are now open for fundraising. We've helped the companies raise $20 million. The average raise is $1.8 million. The largest raise we've done is $7 million. So we're really playing in the large seed rounds and Series A. In addition to our investment platform, we also run a media site called AgFunder News. And the idea is to bring more information at the intersection of agriculture and technology and investment.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a small question for you related to this. So because, well, I have read a lot about platforms like yours, and are very scarce. There is no many. Why do you think this is this situation is happening? Why there is no other platform for investors specialized in agriculture? And do you see an opportunity there for investors? Do you think this is attractive for investors, this sector that is very traditional, as I said before?
Just one clarification. One part of it, why there aren't more platforms specializing in agriculture? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, exactly. Specialized investors, investment or venture capital, because there are other sectors more attractive now, because IT, of course, health, biotechnology. What happens with agriculture?
Yeah, so I think there are two parts to that. One part, we also actually publish a report on the ag tech industry, and we look at investments going into the industry. Last year there was about $2.4 billion going into the industry. This year, kind of halfway through the year, there's been $2 billion. And what we've seen is that investors are increasingly very interested in agriculture. There are a lot of inefficiencies in the sector, and with all the demands like you spoke about in terms of the food challenges, we're seeing a lot of innovation in the space, and investors really getting into the space across the spectrum. You know, you're in the early stages, you've got a lot of angel investors coming in, and then you've got more VCs, specialized VCs and general VCs looking at the space, and then private equity players, family offices. So we're seeing a lot more investors interested in raising funds specifically around ag tech right now.
Right.
But in terms of platforms like ours, my sense is crowdfunding has really taken off. Last year, I think there was about $35 billion put into the raised through crowdfunding. That number was about $48 billion for VC. So you can see the crowdfunding part of the market really developing and getting larger and larger over time.
Okay, okay. Sorry for this. We can continue with the first round. So Mercedes Iborra, can you explain us, let us know something about your company?
Hi, good afternoon. I am Mercedes Iborra, co-founder of Visual with my sister. And I'm very pleased to be here to tell you how technology is changing radically agriculture. As you told before, global population is predicted to increase from 7 to 9 billion by 2050. And my question to you is, will agriculture be allowed to feed 9 billion people? The good news is that it's the best time to be in agriculture, because we have to feed these people, and at the same time, we need technology. So we are here, all of us are here, because we are solving a real problem. And this is a good challenge, I think so. Visual is technology that helps farmers to solve real problems like productivity, quality, harvesting, etc. And for that we use data science, GIS technology, interactive maps, and connecting machine to machine. All this information is integrated in our platform in that way that farmers in the hand have all the relevant information for running the farms. So we have shown that technology, well used, is especially important to get the right benefits. In all of our cases, our customers have achieved very good results, And for us, we are pretty proud because this is our challenge, to change agriculture, giving more benefits to the farmers using technology. We have grown in the fields, 3 whole generations dedicated to agriculture. We have been very close to citrus, stone fruit grapes, agriculture of the Mediterranean. And we know very well the main problems that affect them. And I don't know how many of you have been farmers, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
And throughout these years, we found that technology provides great benefits to the farmers. So many times the way the farmers gather and organize the information does not let them to take the proper decisions to answer their problems. But with the right technology, they can choose the best way to introduce new technology and get good benefits. And well, that's our story. Right now, Visual is has registered over 1 million acres of different crops. Our main market is Spain, but we have customers in Spain, in Chile, California, France, and Australia. So we have shown that technology is scalable, and it can be used not only in Spain, but also all around the world, because agriculture have the same problems all around the world. So we are here to help farmers to change agriculture and get benefits.
Okay, thank you. Francisco, it's your...
Well, I would like to thank the organization for the invitation, and also you, Luis, for your introduction. Thank you very much. As you say, my name is Francisco Cuadros, founding partner of the spin-off Metanogenia. We are a startup, a technology-based company spin-off from the University of Extremadura. We value 15 years of researching related to the management of agri-food waste. Okay. In order to produce biogas through anaerobic digestion, we are very young. We are alive since 2013. We combine 2 great values as a company. On one hand, we have the R&D component, obviously. We optimize the bioreaction in order to produce the maximum amount of biogas for each type of waste. And on the other hand, we can now develop projects and the construction of those kind of plants that we think that are the future here in Spain. All of this with philosophy of management in origin. I mean, some industry produce their byproducts, and they spend huge amounts of money to manage them, and also they have a lot of costs related to the energy consumption. With this technology, you can afford this challenge of the company, but with our new philosophy that we can do it in origin, and the biogas could be consumption in their own industry. We are a multidisciplinary team. We have the expertise of a full professor of applied physics. We have a PhD in science. We have microbiologists. We have lab technicians. We also have a very experimented team, engineer processes team, which is able to develop those kind of plants. And this is our view, main view of the company.
So, well, as Mercedes said, to be a farmer is very hard. It's traditionally hard because there is a lot of problems that still attack from the outside, like the drugness or pests, diseases, the climate in general. So technology can help. This is not like a car maker. They have other problems. So what I would like now if you can explain a little bit more about your technology. What kind of need is your technology solving? What is the potential application in general in agriculture? And how was it developed? Well, we know that some comes from the university. How was the history of the story of your technology, especially for Kenny, Mercedes, and Francisco? I have another question for you both later on.
Thanks, Luis. As the story of our technology came from... the story of our technology came from the idea that we wanted to create and the needs we were trying to solve. So we were trying to get crowdsourcing of knowledge within rural farming communities. I was working with an NGO that works with approximately 300,000 small-scale farmers. And you look at the knowledge and expertise which exists in that network, but you move one community down the road and nobody has the same ideas, nobody has the same information. So the technology was really just a way to try and solve that problem. We first created an internet platform, but obviously we're dealing with a huge percentage of people who have no access to internet. So we ended up using SMS as the vehicle to be able to create the technological change that we wanted. Around 90% of the farmers we work with have access to a basic feature phone and SMS. The technology is fairly simple. It's not a dramatic change, but it is a dramatic change in philosophy of using it to talk both to and with people who otherwise have no opinion to give. And I think more than it being about the technology for us, it's about the principle of saying, you know, up until now, it's very much been about poor people have no knowledge, they have no opinions. The best thing is for us to tell them what to do. And no one has thought about applying the Google, the Wikipedia, the eBay philosophy of the crowds deciding what to do to the developing world. And I think that was what we wanted to solve. So, I mean, obviously, we've spent a huge amount of time on the technology. We were supported by Google to do that, so that's been a huge help. But I think for us, it's not so much about the SMS or the engine, it's about who we can speak to and why.
Okay. Mercedes? Yeah?
I think that I show you with an example how we solve problems.
Yeah.
I show you how we solve the problem of Chrysol. Chrysol is the largest producer of almonds in Spain. Did you know that Spain is the second almond producers in the world?
Yeah.
The first one is the United States.
Yeah.
Chrysol is a company with around 100,000 hectares of almonds. It's a huge company. And they had a serious problem with planning the harvest and with traceability. With Visual, we combine information, we create a map of the company with this area, with these acres, and combining information data about yield forecast, quality, labor and weather conditions, we make the map of harvesting. So every week, every day, they know which fields was ready to harvest. You know? So as a result, they improve efficiency, they improve quality, and moreover, they get extra benefit because they get 2 cents per kilo extra cost, you know, well, lower cost in harvesting. So their return of investment was immediately, you know. And this is the kind of business that we are doing. We use maps, we use data science, and we use connecting information of different sources. And we make the map of efficiency in different ways. We make maps of quality of harvesting, of cost, of diseases, we have to initiate to begin the first treatments, all that things. So we are improving in a modular way the main problem for each company. So it's a system always for solve 1, 2, or 3 problems. It depends on the company, because Visual is a system that you can choose which problem you can you want to solve, and you can change these maps. We have developed around 50 different interactive maps for solve different problems, and all of our customers are very happy, are very satisfied customers, because any of them, all of them ask for more and more different maps, you know.
Of course.
So in only one place, all the team involved in yields, in harvest, in everything, can know the information at the right time, take the proper decisions.
Very good. I think it's a very good example, because almond tree is a growing sector, even in Spain. There is a lot of new plantations, so it's very interesting, very extensive. Okay, Francisco, we know that your technology was created in the university. How did you make the decision of spinning off this and trying to entrepreneur and difficulties? And
I'm going to focus on a project to make the example of the challenge and the solution we found, and that's why we jumped to the entrepreneurship. So, and the project is also incubated in the acceleration program of Extremadura Avante, which Cristina is accountable for that program.
You are the success case of Extremadura Avante. Okay.
She's like our mother. Okay. Well, the challenge we found, in our case, Iberian pig slaughterhouse, they generate a huge amount of waste and byproducts, and they have also a lot of costs related to the energy consumption, thermal energy consumption. This waste has a high pollution potential, and the environmental legislation is becoming more and more restrictive regarding to its elimination. And the energy consumption, what they do is they have a diesel boiler, so they can get the thermal energy. What this means is the diesel market is not stable. You cannot assume fixed cost, and it's not environmentally sustainable. There's a solution. The methanization is a solution, but there is a big problem that European and German plants have been developed on a market quite different than here in Spain. Those kind of plants don't have no R&D component. They manage a lot of residues of different industries. This business model is not able in Spain because there are no public aids or grants that okay, so what we try to do is to
solve this problem.
It's not easy to reproduce this model here in Spain, okay? Because they are not economically viable. With the challenge of agricultural startup, we are developing plants with significantly lower prices and with very high biogas yields. So the customer, the potential customer, can afford the investment of these kind of plants. Therefore, we have a sustainable product, economically, environmentally viable, and different that the macro offers, and obviously totally disruptive.
Okay, good. So another question for Cristina. Tell us something more about the profile of the companies you support. I understood that you support them from the idea to what stage. What is the kind of ideal for everybody that is thinking in going to Extremadura to start up?
In the program, in Agro startup, we invite ideas from this initial stage, because we also give support to other companies in other stages with other instruments. But if we want to be part and to be part of this initial stage, we do that with this program. So we have to get the idea and try to check if it works or not. This is what we do. We provide resources for testing this idea. So we invite new ideas to, if they are if they are innovative, if they are in the field of agriculture or rural field, and if it's aligned with our specialties. So this is what we do at the end.
Okay, perfect. So, and Melissa, what is the profile of the companies you initially are looking for, or the entrance profile for you? And another complementary, another question additional is, what is the most frequent companies? What kind of technologies are in AgTech? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so in terms of the profile of the companies that we work with, they span the agriculture value chain. So we've worked with companies in indoor agriculture. We've worked with companies that do a lot of data analytics. We've had a food tech company, an agribusiness out of Guyana, actually, and so we really see a range, even some biologicals, or really a range, and equipment. So just anything under the sun. But the companies that we specialize with, they've usually developed their technology. They have their team together. They either have their product out on the market or are just taking it to market. So we don't work with the very, very early stage companies. We work with companies that already have a little bit of traction. In terms of how we work with them, companies come to us. We have a due diligence process. We work with them very closely to learn about their company and learn about their company needs, and figure out what a good fundraise would look like. And once we've decided that they're a good fit and they think they're a good fit for our platform, we work with them a lot. And this is actually for all entrepreneurs out there, storytelling. One of the biggest things we do to help our companies is get their stories together so that they have a really compelling story when they go to investors, to get investors to invest in the company. And then we launch their campaign, and we get investor interest over the course of the campaign. In terms of the companies that we see popping up, there have been a lot of digital ag tech companies. We're seeing a lot more indoor agriculture. So in terms of the production side, there's a lot of the big data plays. There is some stuff coming in biologicals and different sustainable inputs. We've seen a handful of equipment companies. And then really across the value chain, there's a lot of really good stuff happening in food waste. That's obviously a huge issue in agriculture. And then alternative farming. We think of farming as outdoor farming, and there's indoor farming, and then there's going to be even lab farming. So we see all of those types of farming developing as well.
Great. So we are running out of time. I would like to have a few minutes for questions, and I had more questions, but I would like to at least to ask just one. I would like any single of you to tell us a success case, very briefly. That occasion that, you helped a coffee farmer and what happened?
Well, yeah, fortunately we have many success cases. We've supported farmers to do a number of things. Just one example is a farmer in Kenya who was interested in keeping rabbits on the farm as a diversification to earn more money. He had no idea where to start, but through a simple exchange of SMS with a farmer in Peru who had been keeping rabbits on the farm for 20 years, he's actually started a rabbit farm, and 6 months later he was one of our first users, and he's actually generating income and revenue from the rabbit farm. And that's just one example of the type of thing we do. Hopefully many more to come.
Very good. Christina?
Well, we have we have to say a good practice in our field of work, and it's the case of the use of drone technology in agriculture. you know, these little machines that are used now for many, many different usage. And we thought that this is a kind of international trend that can be allocated and can solve one of our challenges. We have some references in Brazil and Japan, and we decided to get this technology and to solve our challenges in Extremadura. Now we are working with 14 examples of new drone technologies in the field of agriculture, and there's many different cases in terms of image processing, in the use of storage and data transmission in drones, and big data in drones. 3 different challenges, 14 different local startups, and trying to solve agricultural challenges. So I think that is a good experience for a good example of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melissa?
One success story that might be interesting is a company that we helped raise about $2 million for. The company is called Eden, and they have a smart soil sensor. And originally they were going after just your everyday gardener. And they did a Kickstarter campaign. They raised really successful $400,000 on Kickstarter. Then they decided they were going to go after a larger target of small organic farmers. So they decided they were going to go through Home Depot, and they came to us and they said, all right, we need to raise money in order to produce our sensors at scale, to be able to go into retail, to be able to go into Home Depot. So they launched a campaign on our site for $2 million, and we had 2 family offices and an angel investor put in that money. So it's just giving you a sense of all the different ways, all the different people that are available to help companies now with getting funding.
Okay. Mercedes, you explain an example if you want to briefly say another one,
Yeah.
or if not, yeah?
Maybe my example I explained before.
So we can give the floor to Francisco,
But
if you don't mind. Well,
only one thing that
okay.
I think it's important, always related to the accelerators. We started last year in Wide Open Future, and in a few months we signed a partner agreement with Telefonica, and this ecosystem helped us a lot to boost our business. So I think that it's not only to have the idea, to have the success cases. It's very, very important to take in account all this environment for the growth. You know?
Okay, perfect. Francisco?
One innovation we are very proud of is the production of starters for the bioreactions, specifically for each type of kind of waste. We call them biostarters. We have been finalists in the entrepreneurs found of the Repsol Foundation. They are over there. And these biostarters maximize the production of biogas, stabilize the bioreactors, and shorter times are achieved of the startup times. You can achieve shorter times, and that's a very interesting project we are developing now.
Okay, very good. So I think we have 2 minutes for questions from the audience. Is there any question?
This one is for Francisco. Can you give us a figure of what is the percentage, just to take an example in Spain, the percentage of food that is actually being processed, and what would be the potential? The percentage. So if we say out of all the food that go wasted, it's only 10% that at this moment is processed.
I can hear you properly.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
No.
So the question is simply, can you give us a percentage of the amount of food that actually get processed at this moment through recovery system as yours?
I give you just one number. In Europe, there are like above 40,000 of biogas plants. Here in Spain, we have 37. there's a potential. There's a very big potential market. We have just to afford it and go for it too.
Go for it.
That's it.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. This question is from Francisco again. I'm from India. Actually, we are one of the largest agriculture producers. At the same time, we are one of the largest agriculture waste people. You know, we waste a lot of food. So how viable is your technology for developing countries?
Sorry, for?
How viable is your technology for developing countries? Like India.
For foreign countries, you mean?
For developing countries.
Yeah, our aim is to pilot in Extremadura in order to sell beyond our frontiers, obviously, just to manage in the region and to consumption of the energy. I mean, this kind of projects can be allowed in every city of the world if the conditionals are on green, not on red. No?
Okay, so just no more questions. Just Kenny, he wanted to say something in 30 seconds.
Yeah, just having come all this way, a bit of a shameless plug. We are about to open our Series A funding round, so definitely keen to talk to anyone that wants to get involved. We have a very compelling story, as Melissa conveyed. We're a great social enterprise, and also we're looking for, perfect for this audience, people that speak both Spanish and English to get involved in translating as volunteers to help farmers around the world. So definitely keen to talk to anybody interested in that. Gracias.
Okay, so just two things to finish. One is visit our foundation too. Madri+d Foundation is my foundation. We support entrepreneurs in Madrid, and we are in the stand 9. And second, fuerte aplauso para nuestros emprendedores.